All right, guys, we're getting to another video here. Welcome to Amology. Amology, no apology and no debate. This is a non-traditional, non-religious, joyful, happy, fun conversation. I'm not a minister. I'm not a deacon. Not a pastor. I don't study theology. I study Amology. So that's what I'm sharing here. Is Amology. Um, Deacons, pastors, ministers, they'll give you theology. And I'm talking about Amology. And what I mean by that is I continuously on every video, I go to this one verse and then I do use other scriptures, which is John 8:58. And that verse goes like this: before Abraham was, I am. And then I take that further than that. Before the universe was, that I put the world in, that I put Abraham on, I am. So I'm not saying I'm going back to source, because I am source, so are you. So I am working as, and I'll go ahead and use from this time. I usually replace the preposition from and say working, like instead of saying I come from light, I'll say I come as light. I come as light. So I am working as I am. That's right. This physical body was not before the physical body everyone knew as Abraham, but I am is before the physical body everyone knew as Abraham, and this physical body and all physical bodies. So I'm talking and speaking as the source, as I am. And that predates any manifestation as what someone could call man, woman, or child, and anything that could have been created after I am self as what's called man, woman, or child. So Amology is speaking as that self, that reality that says before Abraham was, I am. And I know through many years of studying, we can take that farther than Abraham and say before the universe was, that I put the world in, that I put Abraham on, I am. That's what Amology is based on. So now you know what and where I am working as and from. There you go. Nothing created by man, but the creator as I am self. And that self is you. And that is the solver to all what appears to be problems. Because when archers would compete back in the day and they missed their target, the mark, the bullseye, they would say you just SINED. Now you hear that in religious terms. If a man looks at a woman, they call that SIN. No, it's not. If he looks at a woman from here, yes. But if he looks at, because the woman, remember, she's the physical garment as I am. And I am is here. So if man looks at woman as and from here, he's actually looking at I am as the woman, as I am as the man. So he is not SINNE. He's not SINNING. Only when one looks at themselves, life, or anyone, or anything from here, that's a mistake, which is a synonym for the word SIN. So, withdrawing the awareness you are back to self is no longer mistaken and missing the mark. So the archers, they would miss the bullseye, and whoever missed the bullseye, they would look at that being and say, you just SIN. You just SINNED. That meant he missed the bullseye, which he missed the mark. So if you miss the mark that you are I am, you just SINNED. But when you hit the mark and know that you are I am, that you're a true identity is you divinity. And I like to say your true identity is you divinity. I'm taking the R off on purpose. I'm letting you know. What I do is I break the grammar rules here just to give you a first cause experience. So I'll say, instead of say your identity, I'll say you identity. You see the difference? If I say your identity, you still believe, you still have somewhere some type of cognitive realization. I'm gonna say realization. I'm gonna use terminology not to take you to the head, okay? So you're not gonna ever hear me use T-H-I-N-K on this channel. You're not gonna ever hear me use T-H-I-N-K-I-N-G. If I do, I slipped. I was watching one of my videos the other day, and I kind of did that. And I was like, oh, I didn't catch that during the recording. But I'd like you to know, purposely, I avoid using words like T-H-I-N-K, T-H-I-N-K-I-N-G, T-H-O-U-G-H-T, M-I-N-D. Because I just finished doing a release session. And the release session I just finished doing is based and from the release technique, which was started by a gentleman named Lester Leviston, who was a physicist, chemist, engineer. He had all these degrees in understanding energy. You'll hear me say understanding instead of under, because you don't prefer to understand anything or anyone, but to understand and overstand is the objective. That's hitting the mark. That would be a mistake, a S-I-N-N-E-D, to understand. Always enter and overstand. Just, you know, this makes sense. You can feel that, right? This makes sixth sense, not, you know what I'm saying? This makes sense beyond the finite. All right, that's the sense that I am making, or that's the sense not making. That's the sense I am sharing, because I am already made as that sense, and so are you. You are the I am. So when I say you instead of your, you, then you are that divinity, not your divinity, because you could say your cup. So that means, okay, you, who are you? And then you have a cup. You still feel separate. But when you say you cup, that doesn't make perfect sense grammar-wise, but you feel the oneness as you as the cup. Not you and the cup, but you as the cup. You feel the oneness. Things, basically, when you start speaking that way, you start coming out of the Matrix. Start coming out of the Matrix. Watch the movie The Matrix. And you start seeing you self, not yourself, and self as everyone, everything, person, place, what appear to be person, place, thing, moment, circumstance, events, and experiences. You see yourself. You go, wow. Then you know when you say I am is more than just what you conceive to be a singular body, but what now appears to be a plural reality. So your I amness is expanded as an awareness beyond who you once believed you were, which is a singular body. So when someone is really trying to recognize that I amness from here, beings will say, oh, you're being narcissistic or you're being arrogant. But when you go here, see here, if you're doing it as a who, then you can see, and even then, I wouldn't label someone as arrogant or narcissistic. I wouldn't. Because the beings, the ones who will call someone narcissistic and arrogant, are calling them that as in from their head. When you're centered in as the heart, you would extend compassion. And you would say, oh, this being is awakening. But you wouldn't get judgmental. That's why the word is called judgmental, not judge emotional, but judgmental. You're not going to get judgmental and then label them narcissistic or arrogance. And a lot of beings would do that because they don't realize that the ego, edging good out or edging I am out, a lot of beings like to say God out, is using their mouths, their articulators, their lips, teeth, and tongue to judge someone, to degrade them so that they won't be challenged to grow via the information that they're hearing. When one stays here, this thing called MIND, which is basically a recording that the brain replays. And the Egypt will have you criticize someone that is speaking enlightenment so that they can stop the enlightenment speaking. And then that being whose mouth is being used by their ego is now shutting down a challenge to grow beyond the ego. The ego will use their mouth to make that being feel bad, to stop the enlightenment, and they'll say you're narcissistic and you're arrogant. And that being, if that being is not solid here, and he's speaking from here, or he just know, or she, they're new to the awareness, they're not solid, they're kind of slightly fragile, then they'll stop. And now the ego speaking out of the mouth of the other being, in other words, Pontius Pilate. Dig what I'm saying? Then ego, what the ego is saying, or mind, which is mind, dump these misinformation needing demolition, has succeeded in staying alive. Because see, this needs I am to exist, but I am does not need this to exist. These things, mind, law of attraction, subconscious, you as I am have to believe that these exist for them to appear to exist. But they cannot exist on their own. They cannot empower you to exist, but you empower them to exist, and they have no reality, and they really not real at all. The only real reality, the only real and reality is you, the I am. That's why I say you instead of your. So I'm letting you know grammatically I do certain things with words, taking letters off the ends of words, or I change some prepositions to keep you as aware as first cause. Now, back to my release session. So I just finished doing a release session, and Lawrence Crane, I ordered all these courses off of the release technique, and I talk about that in my book. You are everything, and everything is you. When you hear me mention these YouTube channels and these techniques, don't try to force yourself to remember, because when you buy a copy of this book, all of those websites, YouTube channels, references to other books and authors are all in this book. This is a transcendental self-awareness meditative research manual. That's what this book is. This book is a wise investment. Only $50. This book should be $50,000, because you will hear beings talk like the ones who are quoting from Neville Goddard's books, who learned from Abdullah, Joseph Murphy. You hear some beings quote from Joseph Murphy. Joseph Murphy and Neville Goddard were Abdullah's students. And if you don't know who Abdullah is, just go to YouTube and type in Abdullah, the mystic from Ethiopia, and then you'll see some materials pop up, and that'll give you the foundation that Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy stood on to write their books and deliver their messages. Okay? And don't be afraid to go there and discover, hey, truth is truth. Don't focus on the package. The truth is being revealed through truth is truth. When you really know truth, and no one is mixing truth with lies, then you know, like, wow. That's why I can look at some verses and tell this verse should have been written this way, because if that verse is written in the way that the verse doesn't address you as the truth, but address something else that you feel is not you, then that verse was written incorrectly, even though it's in Scripture. That's the awakening and awareness that you will obtain when you wake up as I am. I am, remember, before Abraham was, I am. So before I am, before the universe was, that the world was put in, that Abraham was put on, I am. So before anyone could write a book, I am. So I am the wisdom before I was put on scrolls, paper, and carved on walls, in caves, and tombs, and pyramids. I am. So I am can recognize when someone changed something. When you wake up as I am, you can see, oh, that should have been written this way. That's right. When you see, this channel is about self-empowerment, self-awareness, self-realization. That's what I am about here. That is what Amology is. Self-realization. When you realize itself, you're self-empowered, And obviously, when you realize the self, you're self-aware, and then you're self-empowered. You are I am aware, you're I am realized, you I am aware, and you I am empowered. And then you can start seeing like you've never seen before. As the eye, as the heart. Start learning how to see as the heart and not from here. Practicing. Anything that's practiced become practical. Even if that one thing you begin to practice seems so strange to you, keep practicing that, and that strange thing will become practical. And that strange thing will be the practicality you are. So, I just finished the meditation, and Lawrence Crane was Lester Leviston's protege. Lester Leviston, the release technique, previous name was called the Sedona Method, which was set in Sedona, Arizona, where Lester Leviston resided after leaving New York. And he started the Sedona Method. And then he met Lawrence Crane somehow. And then Lawrence Crane had some things he had to release. And Lester Leviston showed him how. And Lawrence Crane was so relieved. He was a great marketing, wealthy being. But he was missing something. See, now he had the money. But he felt like he was missing something. And Lester Leviston helped him find that something he was missing, which was self-realization, which was the awareness as I am. And then once he had that awareness, he felt self-empowered. Then once Lester Leviston recognized Larry Crane's that he was self-empowered, then Larry Crane felt something he never felt before, because there's nothing greater than the self. Then Lester Leviston automatically had Lawrence Crane on board. Since Lawrence Crane was a marketing genius for other businesses, he was like, hey, now I'm going to market the release, the Sedona Method. And then Lester Leviston left everything in Lawrence Crane's hand, and Lawrence Crane, the method, somehow, somewhere, the name transferred from the Sedona Method to the release technique, which you can go to technique.com, and you'll see when it comes all type of courses there that help you. And Monday through Friday, 9 to 5:30, there you can get on the phone call. They help you with releasing. And then I combine the releasing with a techniques, do both of them together, that I learned from a gentleman named Robert Shenfield. He has a book called Busting Loose from the Money Game, Leaving Hollywood in the Dust, which I've done. And he has a creative process where you take the I am you are off the belief of the who and the judgments that I programmed in that who, and the would-be consequences that will come out because of those judgments. So it's not one thing. It's not just that. It's not the. He called these popping eggs, going on the egg hunt, like the Easter egg hunt. Robert Shenfield said, there's not enough to just pull I am out, to divest I am out of the belief of who, but now let's divest I am out of the judgments that are attached, that are built into the who, the ego, mind, misinformation needed demolition, and then divest I am out of what would be the consequences. And then when you do that, you say, I feel I am coming back to I am. And I use the word I am, but he have another word there. And because of all my teachings. And I feel I am self-surging as I am. I feel I'm self-growing expanding as I am. And then expanding, then I feel I am self-expressing I am as the three-dimensional holographic seen self. You do that, you can actually feel the I am that you are being extracted from the lie. And Lawrence Crane, just doing the release technique, he has a series called, one of the courses called Love Yourself. And he said, can you give yourself approval? Now, Lester Leviston broke down WANTS's, which we should never use, because Psalms 23:1 says, I am self. Now, I'm saying the verse the way the verse is best written and more empowering for you. I am self, I shall not, WANT. So you know you shouldn't. Then the very next chapter, Psalms 24:1 says, I am the earth, the fullness thereof, all those things that you could WANT, I am, money, cars, homes, contracts, etc., 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 diamonds, whatever. I am all that. And then the world. So earth and the world are synonyms. And then all those who dwell therein. So there you go. Psalms 23:1 says, you shall not, I am, I shall not, W-A-N-T. And then Psalm 24:1 clarifies, look, everything that anyone with W-A-N-T, you already are when you know you I am. Now, that brings me back to something I did yesterday when I did one of these sessions. I always do a session here where I focus on Amology, and then I do a session where I focus on the book. So we were doing a prosperity chapter. At the end of, like, the chapters, your abundance, you're a millionaire, and your prosperity, I have a check amount at the end. So at the end of the chapter of prosperity, there's a check for $50 million. That's a check for $50 million. When you get this book, trust me, you already in the end result. You hear great speakers like Elmer Olacker Jr., whose grandfather studied with Neville Goddard, who Neville Goddard studied with Abdullah, along with Joseph Murphy. Okay? They talk about being in the end result. Being in the end result. But I have a book that is written. As you read this, I'm a former actor. I mean, yeah, I'm an actor, but I'm not really focused on Hollywood anymore. So I just say I'm an actor on hiatus. But I'm a screenwriter, so I write screenplays. So I wrote this book where you automatically, as you're reading, you are automatically the I amness as each chapter. You are I amness as abundance. That's why the title is called You Are Abundance. You I amness as power. You I amness as love. You are. That's why the chapter says you are abundance. You are power. You are love. You are a millionaire. You are prosperity. You see? Now this you is the I am. Now, the I am is greater than abundance, than prosperity. But I am is prosperity and abundance at the same time. So anyway, so this book is written in end result. So you hear Tom Karen on Be Something Wonderful Studio talk about the end result. You hear Elmer Olacker Jr. talk about the end result when he's quoting from Neville Goddard's book. You have any Neville Goddard books, you hear Neville Goddard talk about be the end result. Well, here's the book where that is written, so when you start opening it, you can't help but to experience the way I wrote this end result. First person, you are. So every time you see the word you in this chapter abundance, you see why. Every time you see the word you see abundance. Every time you see the word abundance, you see YOU in parentheses. Every time you see the word abundance, you see YOU in parentheses. Every time you see the word you in parentheses, you see abundance. So that goes on for 25 and 30 pages. Then I cast you in a screenplay. I fade in, boom, description, action, then character. Your name is in the chapter of abundance, boom. And then now I'm speaking to you as abundance. That goes on for 5 pages, and then we fade out. There's 5 pages, a blank page. You can write your own scene. Then there's an affirmation. That's a page long. You feel I am through twice. You feel I am through once, and that's John 14:14. If you ask anything in I am name, I am, and it's not I am going to do that. The way scripture is written, if you ask anything in I am name, I will do that. But actually, asking is feeling. That's first cause. That's feeling, not verbally asking, but the feel is to ask. And because the Bible is written allegorically, metaphorically, and symbolically, so to feel is to ask. So when you feel the affirmation through once, feel I am through twice, that you are the affirmation. Then the third time I said, now speak yourself into existence. Now when you speak, remember this, John 6:63 said the words we speak are spirit and life. That verse should have been written this way. I am spirit and life. Speaking I am self as words. And then John 1:14 says, and now these words I'm speaking are being flesh and dwelling as I am. Flesh means a manifestation, a garment. So before Abraham was, I am. Before the manifestation was, I am. Speaking as that manifestation. You see that? Before what's called a manifestation is really you taking physical form. So you're speaking yourself as what's called manifestation. Manifestation just means you as the invisible has become visible. Okay, and that's what's called a father. You as the father is the invisible. You as the visible is the son. You just fathered yourself into the world as a son or daughter. Okay, and then now remember, that's right. And that's how that affirmation happened. So these chapters are lit. And then remember Isaiah 55:11. The words that beeth, that goeth forth out of I am mouth shall not return to I am body void. You see that? So as the invisible, you say I Isaiah 55:11, right? Like John 6:63, and you are spirit and life. Hebrews 4:12 said, I am this word alive and powerful. You are and that's the second chapter in this book. You are power. Hebrews 4:12, I am this word alive and powerful. Isaiah 55:11, the word I am that beeth that goeth forth out of I am mouth shall not return unto I am body void. Because that word is I am body. You say you're happy, your body's happy. You say you're healthy, you say I am health, the body's healthy. You say I am strong, the body's strong. Job 3:10 said, let the W-E-A-K say I am strong. Okay, now listen, are you not being awakened on this channel? Are you not getting self-realization, self-awareness, and self-empowered? Are you not? That is the only way you can cause once you know you enjoy. So I got excited because I mentioned $50 million, right? And then I was like, whoa, yeah. And that was in the second recording. But guess what? What's greater than the $50 million is self-realization. Because the $50 million can and will not happen unless I am you self. Notice I say you self, not yourself. Unless I am you self as $50 million. And I did this in this chapter for you. So all you have to do is just live out the script. Just enjoy and just celebrate. And because you are, I am the infinite almighty. Before Abraham was, I am. Before the universe was that I put the world in, that I put Abraham on, I am. Before any manifestations or any what's called people, places, things, moments, circumstances, events, and experiences are visible, I am. Not returning void. Before the visible, I am. Before everybody who's listening, who has a body, I am self, as all bodies on this planet. That's why I say I amology. I got a look at others on this I am publication. I got a series of businesses going and entertainment where we have Birdology, Magicology, Tysonology, Bruce Leeology, Muhammad Aliology, Jordanology. I am entertained. I am as fanology, as all those great entertainers. Different names, one I am. I am, yes. Larry Bird said, Michael Jordan is God as a basketball player in shorts. He was right. But let's use the name I am instead of G-O-D. Because in Scripture, that's plainly right there in Scripture. I am name from generation to generation. That's Exodus 3:13 through 15. I am name that is known from generation to generation. That's Exodus 3, chapter 3, verse 13 through 15. I am's name will never change. So when you say I am, you're saying I am. And you notice I am perceived is the first name in every sentence. If I say I'm going to this, like I'm talking to you, I am talking to you. I am. And you can say I'm listening to I am. And I am going to work out tomorrow. I am holding this book. I am doing this recording. I am delivering this conversation, this joyful, happy, fun, non-traditional, non-religious, joyful, happy, fun conversation. And I am cooking later on dinner. I am, you see, I am always perceived everything you do. So before Abraham was, I am. Back to see. So from generation to generation, I am will always be spoken. I am is I am's name. There are other synonyms out there. God, Allah, Buddha, Krishna, Tao, Jehovah, Brahma, whatever. All synonyms for the one I am. Just depends on which religion you like to prescribe to. But before all religions were, I am. That's why I say I amology right here. I amology, no apology, and no debate. So don't anyone call this channel debating I am, because I'm speaking as I am from I am, and I am based and founded on a foundation that no man has laid. Man has built foundations to buildings and homes and garages, but I am is the foundation as everyone, everything, every moment, every place, every circumstances, every event, every experience, as now and as ever. I am is the foundation as today, tomorrow, yesterday, last year, this year, and many years to come, and many years that were. I am is the foundation. And you know I'm telling the truth. And that is what I'm representing right here and right now. And that is what I'm speaking as right here and right now. And I'm looking and acknowledging you as the same I am. No matter where you are in the world, the foundation that we all has sprung forth as and from, no man has laid with his hands. But that foundation has created hands after hands after hands after hands and will continue to do so. So now you know this is the place as truth. Huh? So I'm going to take a look and see what time I have, because I can go on and I like to make sure I get this in there. Please make sure you subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell so every time I release wonderful videos like this, you're notified. Hit the like button. You must like what you're hearing, because you're being self-realized. This channel and this book is about, it's a transcendental self-awareness, meditative, research manual, and channel. I refer you to back up everything I'm saying with scripture, other beings' websites, YouTube channels, other great writers' books like Anthony Robinson,